The Pittsburgh Steelers began filling their openings on their coaching staff, hiring 2 coaches and retaining one on the offensive side of the ball as they look to finalize their coordinators and assistant coaches for 2024. The team started by hiring wide receivers coach Zach Azzani off of the New York Jets. He had the same position prior to that. He was with the Denver Broncos and then spent a year with the Chicago Bears, but this guy has plenty of experience in the NFL as a wide receivers coach. He helped develop guys like Garrett Wilson, Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy. He spent plenty of years at the college level, including being a wide receivers coach at Central Michigan when Pittsburgh Steelers legend Antonio Brown was there. So there's plenty of hope and excitement that Azzani could come in here, begin to work with Arthur Smith, continue to develop guys like George Pickens and Deontay Johnson and Calvin Austin, and hopefully take this group to the next level. After the team got rid of Frisman Jackson, it seemed as if Hines Ward was immediately the favorite, but Azzani was the only one that they brought in for an interview earlier in the week, and he now lands the job with the Pittsburgh Steelers. On top of that, they have hired a passing game coordinator in Tom Arth, coming from the Los Angeles Chargers, where he held the same role. His NFL journey only started in 2022 with the Chargers being a passing game coordinator. Prior to that, he was the head coach at schools like John Carroll, Akron, has plenty of experience calling plays, working with offenses, being that guy, and now he will come to Pittsburgh and look to do the same. The Steelers expected to hire a passing game coordinator after they hired Arthur Smith. They brought in several candidates. They began interviewing them, and they knew Arth was the guy. He's young. He has some quality experience, I would say, and plenty of upside, which is what the Pittsburgh Steelers were looking for. If you take this back to the beginning of the Pittsburgh Steelers and their search, everybody, including the Steelers, was looking for young, exciting, with plenty of potential. I think that's what Arth brings, and I think that's why the Pittsburgh Steelers didn't wait very long to hire this guy. He was also in a group of interviews that included Azzani earlier in the week. He'll come in here, work with Arthur Smith, work with Mike Sullivan, work with Zach Azzani, Alfredo Roberts, and everybody else, and try to just add a passing game to an offense that has struggled through the air the past couple of seasons. And then their final move is retaining quarterbacks coach Mike Sullivan after plenty of uncertainty. You didn't know if he was going to leave for an offensive coordinator job with the Raiders or the Saints. He didn't get either of those. Then it was rumored that he was out there and the Steelers were going to move on. They brought in other quarterback coaching candidates just for interviews, just to test the waters and see how they felt about the situation. They decided at the end of the day, Sullivan will stay on and he will continue to work with Kenny Pickett, hopefully Mason Rudolph, and whoever the third quarterback is, whether that's Mitch Trubisky or someone else in 2024. As of right now, the only other question mark I believe that the Steelers have when it comes to if somebody will leave is Eddie Faulkner, obviously being an interim head coach or an interim offensive coordinator, after Matt Canada was fired. May add some controversy there, may add a question mark or two, and the Pittsburgh Steelers will have to answer that. But as of right now, it feels that most of their offensive staff, at least the main parts of it, have been filled. They brought in 3 other coaching candidates that I talked about this morning, and I think any of those guys, or at least some of those guys, can be hired as an assistant on the offensive side of the ball. And then obviously there was one who's a strength and conditioning coach, but I would expect more to come, but smaller pieces for the big parts, for the main assistants, main position coaches, and now a passing game coordinator. The Pittsburgh Steelers have filled those slots, and their 2024 coaching staff is nearly complete.